Have you ever met someone who instantly irritated you, even though they hadn't done anything wrong? Or found yourself deeply bothered by a particular trait in another person, to the point where you couldn't stop thinking about it? Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, believed that these intense reactions are rarely about the other person. They are about us. Jung's theory of the shadow explains why we sometimes have strong, negative reactions to certain people. The shadow is the unconscious part of our psyche that contains everything we suppress, deny, or reject about ourselves. It consists of emotions, impulses, desires, and traits that we refuse to acknowledge. The paradox of the shadow is that the more we deny these qualities in ourselves, the more we project them onto others. In other words, the people we dislike the most often reflect parts of ourselves that we refuse to accept. Jung introduced the concept of psychological projection to explain how the mind defends itself against unwanted truths. When we cannot accept something about ourselves, we unconsciously assign those traits to other people. This is why someone's arrogance, selfishness, or laziness may provoke an exaggerated emotional reaction in us. We are seeing a reflection of something we have disowned within ourselves. For example, if you were raised to believe that anger is unacceptable, you might suppress your own anger and see it as a flaw in others. If you struggle with self-worth but refuse to acknowledge it, you may resent confident people who seem to embody the self-assurance you lack. The traits we judge most harshly in others are often the traits we cannot confront in ourselves. Projection allows us to avoid uncomfortable self-awareness, but it comes at a cost. Instead of dealing with our internal struggles, we externalize them, blaming others for the very qualities that reside within us. This keeps us trapped in cycles of resentment and prevents us from growing. The more we rely on projection, the more disconnected we become from our true selves. We create false narratives where the problem is always external, never internal. This makes genuine self-improvement nearly impossible because we are focused on changing others instead of looking within. Over time, these projections can shape our worldview, making us see the world as hostile or unfair, when, in reality, it is our own unresolved issues being reflected back at us. Additionally, projection limits our ability to form meaningful relationships. When we view others through the lens of our shadow, we fail to see them as they truly are. Instead, we interact with them based on our own fears, insecurities, and unresolved emotions. This can lead to unnecessary conflict, misunderstandings, and emotional distance. The only way to break this cycle is through radical self-honesty, acknowledging that what we resent in others may be a call to explore what we have been unwilling to face in ourselves. The shadow doesn't just affect our perception of strangers, it plays a powerful role in our relationships. Have you ever noticed that certain personality traits in friends, family members, or romantic partners trigger an intense emotional response in you? These reactions are clues to your shadow. If a friend's need for attention irritates you, it may be because you have suppressed your own desire to be noticed. If your partner's emotional sensitivity frustrates you, it could be because you were taught to repress your own vulnerability. The qualities that bother us in others often reveal the parts of ourselves that we have not fully accepted. This is why shadow work, consciously exploring our hidden selves, is essential for self-awareness and personal growth. Until we acknowledge our shadow, we will continue to attract people and situations that reflect our unresolved issues. The world acts as a mirror, showing us the aspects of ourselves that we need to integrate. If you want to stop being controlled by unconscious projections, the first step is self-reflection. The next time someone triggers a strong emotional reaction in you, ask yourself, what exactly about this person bothers me? Have I ever exhibited this trait in the past? Could this be a part of myself that I have rejected? What would happen if I accepted this trait instead of resisting it? By asking these questions, you begin to shift your focus inward instead of blaming external factors. Recognizing projections is one of the most powerful ways to break free from emotional reactivity and take control of your perceptions. This practice not only fosters self-awareness, but also enhances emotional intelligence. The ability to recognize when you are projecting allows you to respond to situations with greater clarity, rather than react impulsively. Over time, this shift in perspective can lead to more meaningful relationships as you stop blaming others for your inner struggles and start engaging with them from a place of understanding and compassion. Additionally, once you become aware of your projections, you gain the power to reframe them. Instead of seeing traits you dislike in others as negative, consider what lessons they may hold for your own self-development. Every time you catch yourself judging someone harshly, pause and reflect on what that reaction is teaching you about yourself. This simple but profound shift can open the door to deep personal transformation. Jung believed that true self-acceptance comes from integrating the shadow rather than rejecting it. Instead of denying undesirable traits, we must acknowledge that all human beings, including ourselves, are complex and imperfect. This doesn't mean we need to act on every impulse or embrace negative behavior, but it does mean we need to stop disowning parts of ourselves. One way to integrate the shadow is through journaling. Write about the people who trigger you the most and explore what they might be revealing about you. Another method is mindfulness. When you feel strong emotions, pause and observe them without judgment. Ask yourself what deeper lesson is being presented. The more we integrate our shadow, the less control it has over us. We become less reactive, more understanding, and more in control of our emotional responses. Instead of being prisoners of our unconscious biases, we develop a clearer, more balanced perspective of ourselves and others. This process of integration also fosters greater self-acceptance. When we acknowledge our shadow, we stop judging ourselves so harshly and instead approach our imperfections with curiosity and compassion. This allows us to extend the same understanding to others, reducing unnecessary conflicts and deepening our relationships. Additionally, shadow integration enhances emotional resilience. When we are no longer controlled by suppressed emotions, we respond to challenges with greater awareness and adaptability. We stop being triggered so easily and gain the ability to navigate difficult situations with a sense of calm and self-assurance. True growth begins when we recognize that embracing all aspects of ourselves, both light and dark, is the path to genuine transformation. What if the people who irritate you the most are actually your greatest teachers? Instead of seeing them as enemies or obstacles, consider them as guides revealing parts of yourself that need attention. Each strong emotional reaction is an opportunity for self-discovery. Jung's shadow work isn't about eliminating negative emotions. It's about understanding them. When we stop resisting our own complexity, we gain the freedom to evolve. The next time you find yourself hating someone, remember, it may not be about them at all. It may be a sign that it's time to look within. The beauty of shadow work is that it turns challenges into opportunities for self-awareness. Instead of seeing your emotional triggers as problems, view them as valuable feedback. Every strong reaction is a window into an aspect of yourself that needs to be acknowledged. By shifting your mindset in this way, you move from a place of emotional reactivity to a position of wisdom and personal power. As you integrate your shadow, you will notice a significant change in your relationships. You will no longer be controlled by unconscious biases or knee-jerk reactions. Instead of seeing people in black and white terms, good or bad, right or wrong, you will recognize the complexity in everyone, including yourself. This understanding fosters empathy, patience, and a more balanced approach to conflict. Furthermore, self-acceptance through shadow integration allows you to release old wounds. Many of the judgments we hold against others stem from unresolved pain within ourselves. By healing these internal wounds, we stop projecting negativity onto others and begin to experience life with greater clarity and authenticity. This shift creates a sense of peace and emotional resilience that allows us to engage with the world in a healthier way. Ultimately, shadow work is a path to wholeness. The more you embrace every part of yourself, the good, the bad, and the uncomfortable, the more you step into your full potential. Rather than being held back by unconscious fears and judgments, you become an observer of your emotions, able to navigate them with awareness and self-control. In doing so, you free yourself from the limitations of the past and open the door to a future of genuine self-discovery and empowerment.